In today's cruise news, Norwegian is having more troubles with a ship quarantined in East Africa. Virgin cancels its sailings out of Australia, and Carnival passengers are struggling to use the elevators. Let's get into it. First on the cruise news list, NCL is having more trouble. 2024 is just not NCL's year. The Norwegian Dawn has an outbreak of a gastrointestinal illness. 15 passengers are reported to have mild symptoms, but the East African government has decided to quarantine the ship and not let passengers disembark. This is because of a fear of the fact that this might be cholera. The government came on board the ship and tested the passengers that were sick and possibly some of just a random sample of passengers. It was determined that the illness was not cholera, and the ship has been allowed to port and disembark and go on with its next cruise. Cruise passengers who were stuck on the initial cruise, which, I mean, what a horrible situation, being stuck on your cruise ship for 2 extra days. Those passengers were given a 15% off your next cruise discount for the inconvenience, and any flights that were booked through Norwegian will be rebooked for the later disembarkation day. Passengers who did not have travel through Norwegian and also didn't have travel insurance will be given a $300 voucher to make travel arrangements, which is probably not enough money if you're flying from, let's say, East Africa back to the US. But hey, at least it's something. The passengers that were waiting to get onto the ship for the next cruise, Norwegian has made accommodations for them. They were completely paid for by Norwegian, and more than likely they'll get some sort of compensation for the loss of the 2 days, probably a voucher for 50% off your next cruise, because Norwegian wants to keep that money coming in. The big news with this story is the fact that the media absolutely blew this out of proportion. If you have been watching the news at all, which I personally don't unless it's cruise news, but from what I hear, the news media absolutely blew this story up and made it seem as if this was the new Diamond Princess, the new COVID ship. Cholera does, if went untreated, cholera can kill 50% of people on board. So when it was, when the media caught wind of the fact that there might be cholera on board, they basically spread a bunch of fear mongering, saying, hey, this is going to kill all these people on board. In reality, cholera is something that can easily be dealt with antibiotics. It's unfortunate that the media decided to blow this out of proportion. It hurts the cruise industry at the end of the day, and I know why they're doing it. It's because a lot of people who are anti-cruising believe that ships are just petri dishes and they will never step foot on one because they think that they're gonna get some crazy super disease, and the media capitalize on that, and it's sad. I'm editing the video right now and I realized that I forgot to ask you guys if you guys like what you're watching, if you guys like puppies, if you want world peace, smash the subscribe button. I can't promise any of those things, but I can promise you more cruising content. I really love cruising. If you love cruising too, smash the subscribe button. It means a lot and it really, really helps me out. Thank you. On to cruise news. Item number 2, Virgin Voyages has canceled their sailings out of Australia for the summer of 2024. This decision comes because the Red Sea is a mess. If you haven't been watching the news, which again, I don't, but I know enough to know that the Red Sea is not the place you want to be right now. With the conflict going on in Israel, it's pretty unsafe, and pretty much every major cruise line has decided to stop sailing through the Red Sea. This poses an issue for Virgin Voyages because right now their ship is over in the Mediterranean, and normally they would go through the Suez Canal, through the Red Sea, and down to Australia for their Australia sailings. Because traversing through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal is dangerous at this point, Virgin Voyages has decided to change their sailings from Australia to Caribbean sailings. So if you live in the US and you've been wanting to do a Virgin Voyages cruise, you will now have more options to sail out of the Caribbean on Virgin Voyages. Personally, I've never done a Virgin Voyages. However, it is on my list. I would say it's near the top of my list. For some reason, at the top of my list is Margaritaville. I've heard nothing but nightmare stories, and I really need to experience this ship for myself. It's actually expensive considering what you get. Point is, Virgin Voyages is on my list. If you've been on Virgin Voyages, let me know. Comment down below what you thought about it, if you would go again. Yeah. On to cruise news item number 3, and the final cruise news item this week. Carnival has implemented new smart elevators in 3 of their ships. I know 2 at least, the Vista and the Panorama. The Horizon, that's the 3rd one. Passengers are struggling, it seems, with these new elevators. The way it works is you walk up to the elevator bank and you'll see a little screen where the up and down buttons used to be, and now there is a list of the floors that you can go to. You will press on a floor and it will give you a letter of the elevator that you're going to. So let's say you hit 10, it'll say elevator C. You go wait by elevator C. You hop in, there's no buttons inside the elevator. It'll take you straight to level 10. If you have more than one person, you would press it multiple times. People seem to be really struggling with this new elevator system, so much so that Carnival has put a screen next to the little screen that you click on for the elevator that explains how the elevator works. I've used a similar system. Like I've said before, I live in Las Vegas, and I was lucky enough to stay at the Circa Hotel one time, and that hotel was the first time I've ever actually used a smart elevator, and it's, at least for me personally, it's kind of intuitive. It's way more efficient than, you know, getting on an elevator and selecting numbers. Apparently, passengers on board the Carnival ships with the smart elevators are struggling so much so that Carnival has put a bigger screen next to the touch screen with an instructional video explaining how the elevator works. I think it's one of those things where it would be confusing at first if nobody's explained it to you, but once you get the hang of it and you use it a couple times, it's pretty intuitive. That's one of the biggest complaints I have on cruising or with cruising is the elevators. Sometimes the elevators are super slow, and then sometimes you press a button and the elevator shows up and it's literally packed full of people and there's no room. This elevator system is hopefully going to prevent things like that happening, and it's going to cut down on wait times for elevators. That's it for cruise news this week. Not a ton going on in the cruising world. There's some smaller stories, but stuff I didn't really feel I should curate for you guys. If you're not already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button. I am going on the Norwegian Bliss. Today is Tuesday the 27th, and I board the Norwegian Bliss Sunday, March 3rd, and for a week-long vacation to Mexico. So I'm super excited for that, and I'm excited to bring content for you guys with from the Bliss, whether that be vlogs or cruise tour, or sorry, ship tours or reviews, food reviews. Is the drink package worth it? I have a bunch of videos planned. So if you're not already subscribed, smash that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next one.